welcome to Mums at the Table. You're here with Rachel and Shona. I know, the Shona show. I wasn't going to forget you.
Okay, I'm one of these mums.
I like it already.
And you're telling me I'm not allowed to be one of these mums anymore, who turns around and says to you, you think you've got it tough? Wait until they turn age.
As if I could stop you, Shona. So, you know, when you're going through the terrible twos and you're sort of whinging, you're not getting any sleep, or this is happening or that's happening, and then another mum or another parent says to you, oh, wait until they're this age and they do that, you know. It's so demoralising to hear that.
Yeah, but some of it is absolute wisdom. I mean,
That's the word I was going for.
No,
there.
okay. Look, and I know it can be a bit disheartening when you're having a really rough time at, say, a terrible two, and somebody like me who's maybe got a 16-year-old comes along and goes, babe, you think it's tough at 2? Wait till 16. We've lived through that, and I reflect back on the life that I've had with my kids, and I love my kids, and I wouldn't swap them for anything, maybe. But I wonder if you actually, and I think we say this because I don't think you understand that it's going to be a different hard when you get to these other ages.
I get that it's the truth.
Yeah.
I get that there's truth behind it. But is that the best thing to say to a mum or dad who's already struggling, saying, oh, it's going to get so much worse, you hold in there?
Well, that's the truth.
That might be the truth, but I think we can blanket this. And I actually don't agree, because the newborn phase I found so hard. There's no secret there. I've said that plenty of times before. And I'm really enjoying this phase. So for me, it has gotten better. So when people say to me, oh, does it get better? I'm like, oh, yes, it does. Because I didn't enjoy the newborn phase as much. So for me, you know, that it's not completely true.
Yeah. But also I think at the same time there are honeymoon phases with children. There are phases that kids go through where things do get better and then things get worse again. And I think it's only human, and unfortunately we do complain about the bad side of our kids probably more than the good sides. I mean, we've had some great times with our kids, but the bad times tend to stick there, and especially when somebody goes, oh, it's so tough, and you go,
and sometimes you wish you could go back to where they were.
Because it's easier. Yeah.
So I get why all of that happens, but I think it'd be nicer to hear it a little sugar-coated. I feel stupid saying that, but I think sometimes it can really sort of put mums back a little bit mentally. It's nice to hear every now and again, well, you know, it changes, it gets better, or, you know, you'll get there, and some more supportive comments, but that's my take on it anyway.
Okay, darling, you'll get there. It's all good.
It'll all be like
good.
Roses and peaches, won't it?
At some point it will be.
Hey, if you're just joining us on Mums at the Table, be sure to share, like and subscribe, and keep it locked right here. We're talking about birth control. To use birth control or not to use birth control, but after having a child. Because I know it's a lot of mums obviously need to, you know, hold up before you have your next. Not like me, though.
So the thing when it comes to birth control is that different things will be right for different families. So some couples and some families want to go straight into having number 2.
Damn straight.
And some people want a 2-3 year gap. Some people want a 5-year gap. Some people don't know if they even want to have another child or not.
Family planning.
And so planning your next child or being in control of that is a really important thing to do.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that we can talk about in this setting. So certainly after you've had your baby, and if you are able to breastfeed, then while you're breastfeeding and you haven't had your period come back, then that in and of itself is a reasonably effective form of contraception alone.
So breastfeeding is actually a contraceptive?
Absolutely. The breastfeeding hormones that are produced by your body block you from ovulating. But it's not 100%.
No, it definitely is not. It definitely is not. Says the mum who had 4, 3 and then 1. So, you know.
And so if you want to increase the effectiveness of that particular method, then you can add in a product called the progesterone-only pill, or some women call it the mini pill.
Right.
Now, this is something that you can take that is perfectly safe while you're breastfeeding, so no concerns in terms of affecting breast milk supply or anything like that. It's a little bit finicky, and I always think it's a bit unfair aware that at the time that you're at your most sleep deprived and you don't want to be watching the clock, you have to take the mini pill at around about the same time every day in order for it to be effective.
Okay.
But the good part about that is that you get to control when you start and stop it. So that's very much something that is controlled by you. If you want to look at a slightly longer gap in between children, then you can look at things like an implant in your arm called Implanon, or an IUD device called a Mirena,
Yes.
which they can last between 3 years for the Implanon or 5 years for the Mirena.
Is it safe? I've heard different
So I
stories.
have a lot of experience utilising the Mirena device, and it's a very effective method of contraception.
Right.
If it's used by experienced people, it's perfectly safe.
Okay.
The other benefit with that is that most women don't get their periods while they're utilising it. So that's
Okay.
an extra bit of a bonus from there. But just have a good discussion with your doctor about the best method of contraception that'll work for you, because every family is as unique as the people who make it up.
I love that you said that, and that's exactly so true. Every family is unique, so do what works for your family and get the help that you need if you're looking to plan and space out your children.
Hey, we're back again with Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Gio.
We're actually here to talk about healthy breakfast ideas for kids. Now, if you like these sort of topics, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe or follow us on Facebook. We've got some great ideas. Now, we were just discussing this earlier, but they say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Is that true?
Yeah, it sure is. And there's a few reasons why. So firstly, it's an important source of nutrients. And without this meal, kids actually struggle to meet their nutrient requirements for the day.
Wow, okay. So it is very important,
Yeah.
mums and dads.
Yeah, that's right. It also kickstarts their metabolism and provides them with the energy that they need to get up and go and to play.
Wow, okay. So I could see you've got some great ideas here.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through what's going on? Because I can see you've got things in order.
Yeah, so I've got a number of different ideas here, some of my favourites. I guess the main thing to do when you're preparing breakfast for your kids is to include a dairy or a dairy alternative, a whole grain and a fruit or veggie.
Okay, so including the
Yeah,
whole grains, the
yes,
fruit and veg,
yes,
yep, and all the fruit.
Yeah, that's right.
the dairy.
So I've got some options here that are quick and easy for those days when you've got to get up and get out of the house
I like
quickly.
quick and easy. Please tell me what the
As
quick and
well
easy
as
is.
some options that take a little bit longer for those quieter mornings when you feel like maybe doing something a little bit fancier.
Okay.
So first of all, we've got some yogurt with some fruit on top, as well as you can add some muesli too for the whole grains.
Oh, my kids love that. If I add a little bit of muesli to something, it just makes it all that more special.
Crunchy and
That's awesome.
And then here we've got some wheat bix with some banana, and of course you'd add some milk to this
Yep.
too. So just something to be aware of is when you're buying cereals, just to look out and make sure that they're mostly made out of whole grains, as well as check that they're low in salt, so less than 400 milligrams per 100 grams.
And
as
sugar.
well as either no added sugar or low in sugar, which means that they are less than 20 grams of added sugar per 100 grams.
Per 100 grams,
Yeah,
okay.
so just look for that when you're buying cereals.
Awesome. That's an easy one.
Yes, exactly. So here we've got some whole grain toast with some avocado on top. You could also put banana or some baked beans or maybe even some scrambled eggs. There's lots of different options.
That's a good one because my kids love avocado and even a little bit of Vegemite or something. They love that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Here we've got rolled oats cooked up with some milk and some cinnamon. You can add some banana or some berries on top. You could also...
Can I just add, sorry?
Yeah.
That was actually a sachet that you had got
was.
with no sugar in it. And
That's
it took
right.
90 seconds in the microwave
That's
to
right.
make the porridge. So
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah, so it's great. So you can buy sachets now that have no added sugar.
I
which
love
is,
that
really
idea.
good and quick and easy.
Awesome. And then you've got...
All right, and finally, my favourite is have got some banana pancakes. So I made those with some bananas. I used half whole grain flour as well, and then just topped with some yogurt and lots of fresh fruit.
And my kids would love that. Thank you. I love these ideas, and it's good for you guys to get a visual as well because you get to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
And I love these ideas for my kids as well, and I'll be using them. Thank you. Thank you,
Great.
Amanda. Thanks for coming. We'll see you guys next time.
Hey, Hey, don't forget to subscribe to Mums at the Table. I'm sitting here with Rach talking about algorithms. It's a term that's thrown around online. You may have heard it, you may not have heard about it. What is an algorithm?
Well, I wish I could say I was this math genius who knew all about it, but I know about it from a very top-level understanding. But algorithms are basically what's ruling our world right now.
Right.
And you can think of it in a very simple terms, something that even I can understand, as just a set of instructions. So if you've thought about baking a cake before, anything that has a set of instructions, it's something in a very basic level like that. And it's these instructions that we're giving to computers. We're telling computers, this is the set of instructions that you need to know to carry out this task that we're asking you to do.
So it's important for mums to know what an algorithm is because...
Yes, that's a great question. Why is it relevant to us?
Yes.
Well, it's relevant to us because it can help you control your online experience. When you're going on social media, you're getting suggested different ads, or even when you're going on Google and you're being suggested different things as well. How can you control your online experience?
It's so interesting that you say suggested. I feel like my phone stalks me. I feel like, you know, you'll have a conversation with a friend, next thing you know, it's all in your feed. Is this something to do with the algorithm?
Yeah, so there's lots of stuff happening behind the scenes that we may or may not be aware of.
Right.
As we're going to websites, they're dropping little cookies and dropping like just a little piece of code onto our computer and just kind of signaling the types of things we're interested in.
Right.
They even know sometimes when you're scrolling, if you hover a long time over a particular article, that maybe you're thinking about that or you're hesitating because you're having some psychological response to it. So they're even measuring all of these things. And this is being used to create this profile about you that's then signaling to, you know, websites and things about how it should interact with you. Yes.
They are stalking us, whatever that is.
Yes, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's interesting because there are these debates around who rules these algorithms, because whoever rules the algorithm kind of rules the world. We've seen this in various presidential elections, not just in the United States, but around the world, that these algorithms are being used to help, you know, other people make decisions. So I think as we're going through life, we're trying to help our kids navigate this online world. We need to know how to navigate this online world for ourselves as well.
Do you think, I know there seems to be a negative part to it, that they're stalking us, they're just, you know, giving us what we think we need.
Yeah.
But are there good things to algorithms?
I mean, there could be as well, because, you know, you may not want to go online and have, you know, hear about V8 engines if that's not what you're interested in. So basically it's creating these personalized, customized experiences for us that...
Filtering out the stuff you don't need?
Exactly. But I think the important part is just to understand that there is someone behind the scenes kind of making some of these decisions. So being aware, understanding the bias that might be there. But as we walk into this brave new world as well, as we're having autonomous cars and all these other technologies, the algorithms are getting smarter and smarter. We're using technology like machine learning, where the algorithms are teaching themselves. So just knowing these words and having an awareness can help us feel more confident as we walk into this new technological world.
I guess it also helps us to be more cautious or mindful, I guess, when we're looking for things and searching things, knowing that they're probably going to flood us with whatever it is you're searching, whatever it is you're interested in. So, yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know. Doesn't help, doesn't hurt to know more, I guess. So there you go. They're all about algorithms. Now you know.
All right, so it's a life skill. Everyone's got to learn it. What are your top tips for saving money when it comes to your kids?
Oh, so you want our kids to save money?
Yes, I know we should be doing it, but we should also be teaching our kids. And you're like a money guru, like that's your thing. What did you do with your kids?
What we did was we had jars, 3 jars, and I know we've talked about this in an old magazine from Mums at the Table, but we had the 3 jars, and one of them was labelled savings, one of them was labelled charity, and one of them was labelled spending.
Okay.
So they had to put an equal amount of money into the 3 jars, and once the jars, they start off little, and then as they got older, the jars got bigger. But they had to save into that sort of money. So, and the charities, they could donate to anything they wanted, and spending, when it got to a certain amount, they could either blow the lot or they could, you know, save up for something bigger.
So what age did you start them off at this? Because some people will start really young, give pocket money. Some will wait till they're old and can earn their own money. So what age do you reckon is a good age to start doing it?
I think any age. Any age you can get kids into the idea of saving and giving to others, because as Christians, that's something we should be teaching our kids, is giving to a charity or
I think
or
as
something.
humans, you know, giving back should be something we should be doing as well.
Yeah. I think any age is a good age to start.
I'm with you. Like, we do the whole jar, the coin thing with my kids. But think about today, and when we were growing up, money, coins, that was all very normal. But today, kids are sort of seeing a lot of plastic or, tap and go.
Yeah.
And it looks like money's just this simple,
Yeah,
a never-ending supply.
And that, for me, I see that as a really big problem for, as you know, I've got older adults now, and trying to, even though we've done all of this, it's now a whole new paradigm of trying to get these kids to save money. And one of them came to me and said, I want a credit card. And I just went, oh, maybe not for you. Yeah.
How old was he?
Oh, he's 20. But yeah, I think to do it with coins is really good because they're
Feel
tactile.
it, yeah.
They can see it. They can
what's
hold
happening.
it.
I think that's what I like doing with our kids. How did they come to have money? Did people give them
worked.
gifts? Okay, so you sort of did the chores and you get paid for it around the house type thing. Okay,
Yep.
so
And then when
money.
So they got pocket money, but they had to do chores for it.
Yep.
And then when
that's
they were,
life, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'll
And then
work
when
for it.
they were old enough, they went out and got part-time jobs.
Okay, so I think there are some great things that you've said there, and I love the whole tactile thing. Like, just seeing the plastic sort of doesn't
do anything.
No, but they've got to be able to attach it, put it in the jars. But that is all that we have got time for today. We would love to hear what you have to say about sharing your money tips and how you do it with your kids. I think the more we can share, the better. We can learn from each other. But that is it for us today. We will catch you next time here on Mums at the Table.